it has embodied the knowledge that Africa not only did have a rich history, we also have a great technological civilization. Again, the discovery is a testament to the culture of the people that were living in that area. It showed that they had economic activities which exceeded transportation by sea to fishery, canoe making, and long distance trading. It is also a classical insight into the African economic structure which was existence at that time. The discovery encouraged the preservation of African artifacts. Nevertheless, I believe strongly that if more attention is paid to the study of African heritage and African history, there are many mind-blowing things that will be discovered which will be helpful in development and growth of man in this 21st century. Thank you.
All right, well done, Pascal, for that presentation. So, Ugochinyere is next. Please put your hands together for Ugo.
Imagine discovering a piece of history that is acclaimed to be the second oldest in the world, a relic that redefines everything we thought we knew about Africa's past. What if I told you that such a discovery was made in the heart of Nigeria? Good morning, esteemed judges, my fellow participants, and ladies and gentlemen. My name is Isima Lilian, a penultimate student of the prestigious University of Lagos in the History and Strategic Studies Department. Today, I will explore the remarkable discovery of the Dunkuna Canoe, an 8,000-year-old relic from Nigeria, and how it profoundly influences our contemporary understanding of African identity and African heritage. Beyond its age, this canoe, it offers profound insights into Africa's technological advancements and the rich maritime culture of the region that flourished even long before European colonization. This Dumfuna canoe was discovered on May 4th, 1987 in Yobe State. It was carved from a single piece of African mahogany, and it demonstrates sophisticated woodworking techniques that challenge the assumption that pre-colonial African societies lacked advanced craftsmanship. Comparatively, when we look at this canoe with other watercraft, such as the Perse canoe from the Netherlands, there's a stark difference in the design complexity. For example, while the Perse canoe is significantly smaller and less intricate, the size of the Dunkuna canoe and the structural integrity suggests that it was built not just for local fishing, but for more demanding tasks such as long-distance travel or heavy cargo transport. This comparison highlights the ingenuity of early African societies in adapting their technologies to their specific environmental needs and economic needs. And it also sets the Dunkuna canoe apart as a significant technological achievement in maritime history. The canoe also ties into broader environmental history of the Lake Chad period. The decline of the Lake Chad more than 8,000 years ago represents significant cultural loss and a diminishing legacy of the vibrant communities that once flourished in this region. However, the discovery of this canoe in this region serves as a link to these ancient societies, and it offers an insight into their sophisticated adaptation of their environments. Now, this canoe has had such a profound impact in understanding modern, contemporary African heritage and identity. One, the Dumfuna canoe serves as a rebuttal to outdated narratives that overlooked it served as a rebuttal to outdated narratives that Africa lacked significant technological advancements prior to European contacts. It reminds us that prior to European contacts, African civilizations were innovative. Secondly, the significance of this canoe extends way beyond its immediate historical context. This is a symbol of resilience and innovation, and it reminds us that African societies were not merely passive observers of their environments, but they were also active shapers of their destiny. An understanding of this is crucial if we want to reclaim a narrative that has long been overshadowed by a colonial interpretation of Africa's past. Thirdly, this discovery has reignited interest in Africa's heritage, encouraging deeper exploration into Africa's past. and empowering young historians like me to embrace our identity with confidence. Fourthly, it challenges scholars and the broader public to reconsider Africa's place in the world, acknowledging Africa's contributions, that they were not peripheral but also central to the story of human civilization. Finally, the Dumfuna Keno, it served as a symbol of pride. It served as a symbol of resilience, innovation, and continuity, traits that continue to define African identity. It also shows modern Africans that their ancestors were not just survivors but pioneers. As we reflect on the Dumfuna Keno and its significance, we want to take note that it's more than just a piece of history. It is a bridge between the past and the present, and it's a reminder that Africa's cultural history is very rich and diverse. The canoe challenges us to rethink our perceptions of Africa, recognizing that Africans' contributions to ancient human civilizations are not just significant, they are foundational. In conclusion, the Dumfuna Canoe has not only redefined our understanding of Africans' heritage, but has also revitalized our African identity. It stands as a testament to the proud history that continues to inspire and empower Africans today. It also, as we celebrate this discovery, we want to take note that we want to honor these stories and ensure that these stories that have long been overlooked, they want to ensure that Africans' legacy is recognized and celebrated across the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Ugochinyere, for that presentation. So the next person presenting would be Abraham.
I want to pass this to the judges. I want to use a point. Yeah, good day, ladies and gentlemen, honorable members of the judge, members and volunteers of this program, and the entire JOS community. I am Ologundudu Omololu Abrams, a 400-level student of the Faculty of Law, University of Ibadan. I am here to make a presentation on the influence of the Dumfuna boat on the contemporary African heritage and identity. I will be making my presentation through a poem which will be clearly analyzed within the time frame. My poem says, Nigeria, the giant of Africa, progenitor of the great race, rich in cultural heritage and artifact, a momentum for others to embrace. A thriller in the young shall grow, with settlement between, Pokasum and Gusau, along the Komadagu's Ghana's flow, found the underwater heritage unusual. The Percy of Netherlands, the Neosusui of France, the Dafuna of Nigeria, a product of trance. A series of loners in the pit boat, an overwhelming evidence of depletion. The Dafuna Keno, a traditional truck, a symbol of civilization. An act of craftsmanship and skill, a great contribution from time prehistoric, preserving African identity and phrase. The Dumfuna Keno, a great heritage. The first stanza talks about the locale and the subject matter of the presentation, which is an artifact which is said to be located in Nigeria. The second stanza goes in-depthly talking about the major place in which the artifact was found by using the word young shall grow. The young shall grow happens to be the slogan of today's Yobe state. And in line 2 and 3, it further goes into the nitty-gritty of where it can be found, which is said to be a settlement between Pokasum and Gusau along the Komadangus River. The third stanza talks about the fact that the discovery of the Dufana boat is not an unprecedented event in the world, even though it was an unprecedented event in Africa. The Dufana boat was discovered in 1987. However, prior to that, a boat was discovered in Netherlands known as the Percy in 1955, and also the Neon Sauce was discovered in France in 1950. So even though the Dufana boat happens to be the first of its kind which was discovered in Africa, it was never an unprecedented event in the world. The fourth stanza talks about the impact and the influence of this boat. It begins with talking about a series of lunars, saying that this boat has existed for a couple of years, which is projected to be about 8,000 years back, and this shows that the existence of this boat in this locale shows some significance about that area. According to an article written by Dr. Folashade Adewumi, which is titled "The Dufana Boat Find," she stated that it is impossible to find a boat in a place where there is no river, and this clearly shows that there must have been a river at that place before a boat could have been there. This shows that the Lake Chad covers that jurisdiction, even though it has been evaporated in recent times. The third line talks about the Dufana boat, a traditional truck. The truck in this sense symbolizes the fact that there was conveyance of goods and people within this jurisdiction as at that point. And this Dufana boat played a significant role as it served as a means of livelihood and a propagation of commercial activities within this period. The last line talks about giving the road walk of civilization, or a symbolism of civilization, meaning this boat shows that there were hydro engineers in Nigeria as at that point who were knowledgeable enough to come with an innovation to create elements that could facilitate transportation. The last stanza, which talks about the act of craftsmanship and skill, and also a great contribution from time prehistoric, speaks about the fact that the Dufana boat has contributed veritably to the civilization, the skill, empowerment, and the sense of craftsmanship of African people. Hence, this boat is not just a pictorial evidence of we being African people, but it also showcases the skill acquisition of the African people, their sense of craftsmanship, the concept of commerce, and as well the issue of civilization in Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you, Abraham, for your presentation. So we will be taking Goodness's presentation and would round it up with Adedeji.
Thank you. Okay. So we know about the Wright brothers. We know about Mungo Park that discovered the River Niger. But few people know about the series of events that shaped Africa as we know today. My esteemed judges and the audience, I'm Goodness Frederick, and today I'll be taking you through the influence of the Dufana canoe on the understanding of the African heritage and identity. Robert Warren said, and I quote, "History cannot give you a program for the future, but it can give you a fuller description of ourselves and of our common humanity so that we can face the future." Today, stay with me as I walk you through a discovery that gives us a different perspective to what Africa really is. Dufana canoe was founded in 1987 by Malam Yao as he traversed
the city of Yobe looking for water for his cattle. And there he struck something that marked a turning point in how Africa is perceived today. Dufana Kano, the dimension of Dufana Kano is, length is 8.4 meters, 0.5 meters in width, and 5 centimeters in thickness. And this shows us something, that civilization in Africa goes way back. We have been told before that Africa is not a people with history. The dark continent, a number of different notions that we've heard, but the discovery of Dufana Kano challenges that notion, challenges that narrative. After excavation in 1994 by Nigerian and Germans at a depth of 5 meters, Dufana Kano has shown civilization. The specificity of how it was constructed shows us specialization, shows us technology, shows us trade, and these are pillars of civilization. It shows that Africans at that time understood the importance of making use of what they had, mahogany, to create what they needed, a way to traverse, carry what they had, their resources, past the seas, and do trade. It has challenged Eurocentrism. It has challenged the notion that nothing good can come out of Africa. It has challenged the notion that Africa is black and that is it. It has challenged the notion that we're a people without so much to offer. It has challenged the notion that only a particular continent can stay as the standard. It has brought heritage. It has brought value to Africa. We have seen people come down to Nigeria wondering what next they can see. We have seen people come down, travel down, invest in our art to, as a result of discoveries like Dufana Kano. Also, we have seen that, I beg your pardon, we have also seen that there's much that Africa has to offer. So we have seen the Dufana Kano and also the Lake Chad Basin where it was found, and it has just given us a picture as to the vague, it has given context to the vague blank canvas that we had of Africa prior to these discoveries. And now we know that Africa is not just a continent. It doesn't just have to sit at the third world category, but we can be more. Like Fela, I'm an African man. I'm the original. It has showed us that we can be more. This has influenced our perspective as a people. And today I call on everyone seated here that we can, and I'm calling on everyone that we can traverse the past and we can shape the present and paint our future, just like Dufana Kano has shown us. It has also, while they have said that Africa is dark to justify colonial conquest and everything that went on during colonization, Dufana Kano has shown us that we are a people that has much to offer, not just to ourselves, not just within our context, but that can be history that can be told to nations unborn, so we can present our generation a future that they can be, a history that they can be proud of, and a future that we can collectively build as a people. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Goodness, for that presentation. And our last presentation for the day is that of Adedeji.
A long time ago, there was a man named West who came to Africa. And he claimed to have discovered black men and women who were naked and had no sense of civilization. The harshest part of his narration is the fact that he said that Africans are barbaric, uncivilized, and uncouth. Many years after, a Fulanese headman was digging a well in search of water. And so he started digging He dug. He dug. Instead of finding water, he found something rare and intriguing. He found a very vital piece of African history. The Dufuna Kano was found after digging for 4.5 meters. And in the next 4.5 minutes, we'll be going on a journey of in-depth knowledge with the hope that we discover whether we do not have an identity, like the West said, or they just didn't understand us. Judges, ladies and gentlemen, Adedeji Aderomu is my name, a student of the Department of Religions and Peace Studies, Lagos State University, Ojo. I'm here before you to speak on the topic, the influence of the Dufuna Kano on the contemporary understanding of African heritage and identity. Now, what is the Dufuna Kano? According to a publication by the African History on March 7, 2021, the Dufuna Kano was discovered on May 4, 1987 in the Yobe State village of Dufuna, Nigeria. The Kano was dated at 8,500 to 8,000 years old by radiocarbon dating of a sample of charcoal found near the site, linking the site to the Lake Mega Chad. The Kano measures 8 meters in length. The University of Maiduguri then conducted an initial investigation of the site in 1989 and 1990 to determine if it was a Kano and to take radiocarbon dating samples of the wood. Further tests, which included the University of Frankfurt in Germany, will tell us how the bowl and the stern of the Kano had been skillfully worked to points. And the work was done with core axe-like and pickaxe bifocal tools of microlithic appearance. Another research published in 2015 by an American science team found that Lake Chad had shrunk by 95% in 40 years, implying that the region of the village of Dufuna would have been part of the lake's floodplain in the distant past. It is the oldest boat ever found in Africa and the second oldest boat in the world. Currently, the boat resides in Damaturu, the state capital of Yobe. Now that we have an understanding of what the Dufuna Kano is, let's explore its significance in the context of African history and heritage. Before its discovering, the prevailing narrative was that ancient African civilizations were not as technologically advanced as their European counterparts. Ajay Ajapong, a lecturer of the Department of History and Diplomacy from the University of Cape Coast in Ghana, in his paper, The Image of Pre-Colonial Africa in European Circles, he writes on how the Europeans had looked down on Africans and didn't attribute any iota of civilization to the continent before their presence. However, the Dufuna Kano challenges the narrative by showcasing the integrity, the ingenuity, and the creativity of ancient Africans. Firstly, we see a state of technological advancement. The Dufuna Kano showcases the technological advancement of ancient Africans. The Kano's construction demonstrates a sophisticated understanding of woodworking and engineering. Also, it shows the spirit of commerce. The Kano's discovery in the Lake Mega Charge floodplain highlights how much our ancestors relied on waterways and how well they were able to adapt to their environments. Furthermore, the rich culture of Africa. The Dufuna Kano shows our identity was strong before colonialism. It proves our culture was rich and vibrant long before the Western world came calling. These indications demonstrate the significance of the Dufuna Kano in redefining our understanding of African history, heritage, and identity. By exploring these aspects, we can gain a deeper appreciation for the ingenuity, creativity, and cultural richness of ancient African civilizations. In conclusion, the Dufuna Kano is more than just an ancient boat. It is a symbol of our rich cultural heritage. And so, it is high time we discovered the African ingenuity, identity, and heritage that has been buried under layers of Western innovation. It is high time we embrace that identity. Thank you.
All right. Well done, Adedeji, and a round of applause to all the participants. I mean, they took us through Dufana and Africa and the fact that our skin is black, but we are not dark people. So, I would hand over to the judges so that they can also give their assertions and feedbacks as it concerns each of the participants.
Hello, everyone here. First, let me commend all the participants for their sleepless nights. And let me also commend those who are also not in the field of history, but again have been able to also take their minds through a journey of what the historians go through, and the benefit of history being a course in every field. So I commend your passion for most of you who are not in history, because you're also coming from a disadvantaged position. But again, even from that disadvantaged position, we also see the mettle of your ingenuity in also learning and also bringing yourselves up to speed. I would not make individual comments, because my comments and my assessment is going to be a product of what we will also gather as judges here, so that we get a cumulative of those who would go to the next level. So I would not make a personal comment. But again, I'll make general comments, and general comments in the sense that, like I started with the lathering before I get into the shaving. You know you must lather before you shave. So my commendation is to each and every one of you. And to also see the fact that, of course, we know that there is hope. Hope for a generation, hope for a country. For every country you go to, you find out that it's their history that makes their leaders. It's only in Nigeria that people without a history are becoming leaders. But I am glad that we're now also developing, and I must also commend the organizers and the Department of History, the University of Jos, for providing the platform. You have traveled. You have now seen. It has also poured your minds as to what Plateau is and what Plateau has been told to you. But I'm glad that you took the courage and you journeyed, maybe despite comments here and there. Quickly put, most of you, yes, of course, made mention of some of it. But again, like I will always tell students, is that what is the question? The question in itself speaks about Dufuna. Most of the literatures you read, others a bit stepped out of the general literature, but it was almost a common literature that most of you read. Others would step out. Of course, I expected that in the context of what we were speaking to in terms of the contemporary application and the importance and the significance of Dufuna Kenu. How has it demystified the perspective of the white? How have our institutions projected UNESCO's discovery and UNESCO's naming of Dufuna? How has that in itself, and I'm saying this to serve also whatsoever you're also going to do, those who would cross the other line, the line that we have just competed here for. And then the other part of it is that in what way has it enhanced our cultural identity? In what way has it also consolidated our heritage? Because the perspective of the question, those who structured the question, is to also see its application in our today. The value of our yesterday and its application in our today, and where it should project the young generation and the people called a country, people within a country, to what we should also stand for. When I hear people speak about the aspect of just how the Europeans have painted their history of their contact with us, we have still not come up to speed to how they should also be experienced and exposed to what they are trying to cover. Hello, are we together? Because most of our history, as you find it, when you talk about the civilization, of course there is no way you would take away Egypt as a cradle, but today you're also speaking about within the confines of a territory called Nigeria, you're speaking about Dufuna in the discovery and you're also connecting it with Nok. And by the time you do that, you find out that yes, as much as the Funa dates back more than Nok, you know that of course, even in the BCs, Africans and civilizations have existed. Then we also come to a part in which technology was first discovered in a region of Africans. If you're talking about civilization, like I just mentioned, Africa and Australia, for very many persons who must have read Guns, Germs, and it's all about the people in Australia. And that in itself, you also see clearly how guns, germs also propagated what you call the developments of society over time. So of course, yes, in passing, some of you mentioned it, issues of heritage, issues of identity, but how strong? Looking at you people, I could just predict where most of you came from. Because of what? Your identity including. But because you're speaking about Africa, I give you a pat on the back. None of you, you're wearing African identity. And you're also contextualizing it in what you call Nigerian identity, to show that you also believe in your heritage. So that also is a plus to you people. And then, like I said, I know some of my other colleagues, let me not take you through a lecture, would also mention, but mine, as it is from a generic perspective. Generic in the sense that, like I said, if you had also, some of you had categorized it, it would have brought out your points clearly, i.e. cultural identity, issues of heritage, issues of the demystification in post-colonial times, because what we're trying to do now is to demystify Europeans' history with their contact with us, in terms of their contact with us, and to tell them that before you came, we were technologically advanced. Before you came, we had a network that generated commerce and trade. Before you came, there was also what you call the synergy in terms of the network that was established. And then also, even the climatic change that you're talking about, ever believed it was with us. And when you talked about the shrinking, we were having a conversation with some of my colleagues in the department before we started this. And I told them, what is in your mind when it comes to, and I must give all of you, most of you, if not all, the part that, of course, you also brought about the evaporation and the shrinking of the lake chart, and also the discovery. But again, you also see the accumulation over time, in years, thousands of years, of what you call the sediments. And that is why the depth at which they found the Dufuna canoe was right down. And some of you also would have also touched on issues of preservation, the skills of preservation. Because if such a canoe could be preserved over thousands of years, 8,000 of years and still counting, because we are not subtracting. The more we live by the second, we're counting more of the years. So here, that is also there. And then also the technological expertise, which some of you mentioned, but again, the mentoring skills and the skills that we also abandoned. You can imagine if ancient generations understood this and they could survive the waves of the sea as a dam, the Caspian Sea as it is, you know that, of course, the world was connected by the transport on the sea. So let me just hold my breath. Others would also mention, but like I said, I must commend you. And our individual assessments, when brought together on a cumulative template, would give the rest. But like we said much earlier than now, from the program organizers and the rest, it is not a matter of I came first. It is the advantage that you have over time from the numbers that applied for this have gotten to this point. And when you only compete and you don't look at the angle of the collaboration and the cooperation that you found in yourselves as you connected, you would not move in this learning journey. I wish you well, and I also pass the mic to my colleagues for their comments.
Okay. Let me first of all start by commending all of you. I must confess that I am impressed. This has exposed us to a lot of things. It has exposed us to the history of Nigeria. And I'm very sure a lot of us before now did not know about the Dafuna canoe. But today, here we are, we know about it. So, this is also a call to all of us as historians, as researchers, to undertake what is known as history from below, whereby we challenge the European view that we do not have a history, whereby we tell our own story from our own perspective by carrying out research. So, well done to all of us, and well done again.
Thank you very much. Thank you to my fellow judges. Congratulations to all of you. I do know from yesterday's exercise that to most of you, the Dufuna Kano was unknown, and what it means to Nigeria and our heritage also was unknown to you. So I want to applaud every one of you, first of all, to come up with such beautiful presentations in such a short period of time. I know you were just heard about the topic yesterday evening, and to be coming all out here, to be bold and courageous and talk about this, and even drafting a poem or creating a poem is very admirable. I can second what my fellow judges had said before. I think what distinguishes speeches or presentations in history is, one, just to review or just to repeat the facts that we all know, and then to really create that bridge to what it means to today's understanding and today's perception. So I think those are the, for me personally, what I've looked out for in a presentation, to see who understands what it means today and what it means to Nigerians understanding as a nation and as a civilization and with such vast history, versus just to repeat what perhaps fellow researchers have found out since the discovery of the canoe. But all in all, I must second my fellow speaker. I'm impressed with what you've created in such a short period of time, so well done.
For me personally, I think all the contestants have done very well, because from their introduction, some of them are from medical departments, other departments apart from history. But then the delivery I saw today, personally, I feel it's good. All of them did well. And the areas I want to point to the contestants is that today in the world, we leverage on AI. Today in the world, we leverage on AI. And if you discover, almost all the contestants had some AI input in their researches. Nothing wrong with AI. If I get a question to do a research, I just copy the question and put on AI and tell him, if I'm to do a research on this topic, AI, what should I do? It brings it out. Exactly, he arranges everything for you. You should start with an introduction. Introduction should be this. And then you should say this other point. It has done this, it has done this. AI gives you all the point and the format of presentation. Lovely technology. But then, as we collect information from AI in history should not substitute field work, where you go to interview people and then look at evidences on ground at the place. And from what you were saying, most of you, a few of you did that. Apart from the information they got from AI on the topic, they were able to mention other people that wrote articles in academic journals about the Dufuna Canoe. Beautiful. That's history. It makes history different from other disciplines. We don't just rely on AI. Other disciplines, you could copy everything on AI and submit and you get an A. But in history, AI should not substitute field work. Because without field work, it's no longer history. Or it will not be a good historical research. Okay. All right, she said the mic, for me, I think I'm audible enough. But then she said they are streaming it, so they need to get the sound on their cameras. All right, so if you look at the AI thing that you got, beautiful, but you should also do some field work. Read some other books that are talking about African artifacts. Read some other articles that have been written about the same community, the Funa community, on this discovery. So when you read those ones and bring them and add to the information you got from AI, it makes your research deeper and stronger. That's history. So next time you're going into, those that are qualified to the next round, make sure whatever you get information from AI, do some field work. We still have history professors around. We still have professors of archaeology around. So as you do a research, interview one of the professors of archaeology. What's your take on this artifact? And as you're doing your presentation, you should mention that. In an interview with Professor so-so-so person of archaeology, he said this about that artifact. It strengthens your work. But none of you have done any interview with any historian or archaeologist in your research. So next time we are going to the next round, those of us that will be privileged to go to the next round, let's ensure that we bring in this into that. History works with field work and evidence. So people that are authorities in that field, interview them. Yes, that's why the place of oral interview. Professor, you've been into history for years, you've been into archaeology for years. What is your take on this? And how has it improved our heritage? So you also include their points in your presentation. It gives you strength and more points. And that's for the candidates. For the organizers, beautiful. The choice of the topic is apt. Beautiful topic for students to research on. I like it. And then the organizers trying to encourage the study of history among young persons in all disciplines in Nigeria. Beautiful. But then I have a little observation. If we are going into the next round, particularly for the score sheet, let's a little bit bring in experts in the field of archaeology and history for a topic like this to be able to come out with the score sheet. Because in history, if you are doing a research, the points allotted for depth of research should be higher than the points allotted for other things. But here, all the points are the same. Depth of research, 5 points. Presentation skills, 5. Time management, 5. Delivery, 5. All of them the same. In historical researches, if we are going to the next round, let's have experts in history to bring out the templates for scoring. The depth of research and the evidence included in the research should be able to have higher marks. So for the organizers. But the choice of the topic is apt. And the thing you're doing to encourage young people to go into the study of history, perfect. I like it. So well done to the organizers. Thank you.
Please, another round of applause for our judges for the wonderful work that they are doing and have done so far with the presentations. Again, well done to our participants, and please, let us give them a resounding round of applause for having researched about this topic within the shortest period of time. They were saddled with this last night, and today they are doing this presentation. It goes to show that they are dedicated to discourse and are as enthusiastic towards history as we are who have organized the Young Historian competition. So, we would be drawing close to an end, but before then, we would have a speech from our COO, Mr. Jerry Metameki, as we run down to the end of today's
Good afternoon, everyone. I bring you greetings from the board and the management and the executive director of the Restored Heart Foundation. First off, I want to say a big thank you to our distinguished judges who have taken time out to spend with us this afternoon. Beyond having to judge our participants this afternoon, they have also exposed and brought more light as to the competition and also plans that we can put forward to see that we have a robust competition going forward. Again, I want to appreciate our participants. You've done so well. Since you came in on Sunday, despite the stress, the rain, and the discomfort, you have showed strength this afternoon. We see your effort and we say a big thank you to you for what you have done so far. To the entire team of RHF, that's the Restored Heart Foundation, and our media crew, I say a big thank you to you for doing the maximum, and I say thank you for making this event a success. I wish everyone here all the best, and I hope we all get our destinations safely. Thank you very much.
Right, so thank you everyone for coming, and we would be taking a few feedbacks from okay, so thank you everyone for coming, and we hope you had an exciting time here and an engaging time with us. We look forward to the next stage, and to the participants, you are all champions. It doesn't matter who goes to the next stage or who ends their journey today. You are champions, and you are champions, and you are champions. Thank you, everyone. I would hand over to we would do a compilation after today, and then proceed to the next stage of the competition, which is the semi-finals at the University of Lagos, for the next set of participants who would be successful. And that would also lead to the build-up of the grand finale. So, for everyone here, participants, our audience, the judges, thank you for making today as memorable, and we look forward to meeting some of us at the University of Lagos. Do have a good evening.
Alakori, alakoko, shoma femi, shoma lato, timpa gbewa, shoma kako, shemo mani problem pẹ̀lú boys. Tabaja kapada, asalo Canada. If I travel today, give my buy labata. I'm a man, I'm a brother man. Only need problem.
Sorry, 1 minute. So please, our participants can come and snap with the judges before we...
We have a final sheet. Can we have a final sheet so we can aggregate
Alakori, alakoko, shoma femi, shoma lato, timpa gbewa, shoma kako, shemo mani problem pẹ̀lú boys. Tabaja kapada, asalo Canada. If I travel today, give my buy labata. I'm a man, I'm a brother man. Only need problem. Baby, show up, show need me king call. Ulaye lo wajeku, iru eleyo mani problem. Melanin, popping, baby me show nita. Baby such I give you feedback. Money do nita, oh yeah. Show me capital business. Show me character dickiness. Can you wake up around 4:30? To make breakfast for me. Nobody let you gimme, come on.
I was built to be the best, number one and nothing less. Lead me to my destiny. I have waited patiently. I have vision, though I believe. I know I can count on me. So stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up, stand up, stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up, stand up, stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up. Here we go, it's getting close. Now it's just who wants it most. It's just life, that's how it is. Cause we have our strengths and weaknesses. Oh, I have vision, can't you see? I'm on the move, make way for me. So stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up, stand up, stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up, stand up, stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up.
Alakori, alakoko, show my family, show my lato, timpak bewa, show my kako, she mo mani problem, pelu boys, tabaja kapada, pasalo Canada. If I travel today, give my pile la baba. I'm a man, I'm a man, I'm a man, I'm a brother man, only ni problem. Baby show up, show ni di ni king call. Mulaye lo wajeku, iru ele yo mani problem. Melanin, popping, baby me show the car. Baby such I give you feedback. Only do the girl, oh yeah. What would you do? Show you capital business. Show you character weakness. Can you wake up around 4:30? To make breakfast for me. Nobody let you give me. Give me, come on, give me chicken. Give me, come on, give me chicken.
But if I climb the train, it don't pass through. Travel around the world, now I found you. And if I catch the plane, it don't catch. And I hope you gon' fly away today. I did. Yeah, I hope you gon' fly away today. I did. But you know, say I fly. So no, they rejecting me. Oh, I'm calling. I did try. But you know, they getting me. Tip and corny. You go like fly. Yeah. Allow me to spoil you with my money. You don't cover my head, but you never met a girl, you go wife up, ooh, and I'ma hold you down, no. But you never met a girl, you go wife up, and I'ma hold you down, no. Hold you down with no excuse. Nobody be damn you, but you never met a girl, you go wife up, and I'ma hold you down, no, down low. American love, ready you go to Tokyo.
I be like this straight from the get-go. I know they take, I see lose bread. If you miss your show, you know see me, I go take. I'm up my money cause I promote a desperate. Make one no vest, and my money be my man. Go many my gun, be the people I read. Oh my I read for the green, that's the yellow. Some call me IB, some call me Olo. Keep who I really be on a low low. Day and night, so my guys they hustle. Every penny they touch my circle. I the best my ups make them restless on schedule. Them say I beat out Omega. I go this.
They come want to make come on leg. I'ma show you go they no complain. I'ma go they also go sharp. I'ma not DJ tombstone they play. I'm in the mood. I'ma get feeling the ground. They do marry no one like you. Tabaja de baba shot they low.
I'm in the mood. So talk to you, waiting the worry you. Now me and you. Today not today, where you go know me, yeah. Come on, Nibolo Tunda, cause a perfume, Kalona Finda, Kashi Kini, Kayona Fila, you got too slowly, the Bukajo Goloba. Come on, Nibolo Tunda, cause a perfume, Kalona Finda, Kashi Kini, Kayona Fila, with a cruise, no, Patrick, Magbadu, Amaja, Adamajani, Joanna, Zari Awala.